Greetings, YouTube, friends, subscribers, colleagues, scientists, like-minded, all those on the greater endeavor for the greater good of humanity and more. We're having a live broadcast today with Henning Kemner and Adam, and we're going to go ahead and get this conference started here. And I'm going to say we're live.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Hello. So, what are you up to, John? You wanted a live show today.
Well,
I know
actually,
what I'm up to.
Adam called this one up today, so I was like, okay, yeah, let's have one. Let's see what's going on.
It's just it's been too long, man. There's a lot going on, and I've been watching some of our buddy's stuff here that he's been posting on his YouTube channel. So I know he's got stuff to talk about.
Well, I've been a little bit disconnected, focusing on business, trying to raise revenue and capital for myself. So I've kind of just detuned from the world.
No hard feelings, John. We have to take care of ourselves first before we can take care of others.
Yep.
AKA Ukraine.
Yep. So what's new? What's going on?
Well, I guess we could start with the other $2 billion they just sent to Ukraine. We have the I don't know what you want to call her, but the queen, our grateful queen over there across the pond. She's supposedly dead or on her way to dying, and the whole family's flying over to see her. So we can start off with those two things.
Was she diagnosed with COVID or something?
They're not saying. All they're saying is she's sick, and people are already presuming that she's dead. And don't misperceive me when I say that. I don't know if she's alive or she's dead, but she is in the hospital, and the whole family's flying to see her.
Okay, so it's kind of like unknown at this point.
Or could that be code for a secret meeting? Maybe she's not really sick. That's kind of where I wanted to take it. Because I don't think things are heading in the direction they want them to head. I think people are a little too awake, and they're going to have to really step up the game, and they're going to have to do some shady things to get a play on us, right? Mm. Yeah, exactly. Because our Lord said that everything hidden will be revealed in the end. It will come to light, and they have clearly showed their hands again and again, and latest with the wheelchair guy, Joe Biden, with his Hitler, Mao Zedong, or Stalin speech about who is the enemy. I mean, that's taken straight out of New World Order manuscript, straight out of it. You know what it reminds me of? You ever seen the movie V for Vendetta? Yeah, I've seen that one. Like, I'm doing an edit right now of basically all of what we're talking about, like, for a video, but, like, the basis of that edit is going to be with the V for Vendetta movie, like, molded into it. Like, the more, like, I watched that movie not too long ago, and, like, every time I watch it again, I'm like, wow. You know, when you watch a movie and you're like, oh, that's a good movie, but then you watch it, like, you know, throughout the years, and you just see it becoming more and more real? Yeah. That's one of those movies. So I implore everybody to go get a copy of V for Vendetta if you can and watch that movie. Yeah, I like that. I only seen it once, but I got the point already. But does it not make more sense that about the mask? Because, like, I understand, like, they're all wearing the mask for V, but I think that they knew that was going to have a double symbolic meaning too. That everybody was masked. I don't know. I don't know if it pertains to the scamdemic. I don't know that. If that's what you're thinking. Mm. Well, I see it like this now, that they have stuck their hands out in the nettles, the Democrats, or whatever they want to call themselves. I'll call them the American Communist Party. That's what I would call them. That's the right name for them. I mean, they have been acting very inhumane,
very, I would say, authoritarian against its own people, and creating an inflation and a stop of energy production, pretty much a stop of everything. But damn, he can put $50 billion over to Ukraine, to a gangster who is willing to bomb his own people to make them silent. I mean, people are waking up to that fact here in America now that something ain't right, and this is not what I voted for. And I don't want that. I don't like that. So now they need to do something desperate. And it would not surprise me if something desperate is going to either pertain to something like a false flag event of big proportions, or something like a manufactured climate change disaster. I feel that.
So I just
Because
saw.
climate-
I was just on the phone with somebody yesterday, and like some CPAs and some other people, and they were saying, "Hey, did you know that all the fuel has been cut off to Germany?" And I was like, "No, I haven't heard about that." And they were saying that it's going to be pretty bad this year. Like, it's going to be bad. So I was going to ask you guys if you heard something along those lines and see what your
Well,
thoughts
it's
were.
already confirmed. Russia has shut down the pipeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just Europe; it's Germany and
Dude, it's the European nations, bro. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna get really screwed. But England, the new Prime Minister of England, she has lifted the ban of fracking because she already now see what is coming down the pipe because of that. So they're starting fracking, so England can at least produce its own energy to stay in the game. But the rest is pretty much on their own.
and then this just happened today. Home prices across the U.S. make biggest drop in 11 years by as much as 4%, leaving hundreds of thousands of owners at risk of going underwater. And West Coasters are worst hit.
Jeez. So the housing market again is going to take the brunt of another recession.
And then BlackRock has a $50 billion check in their back pocket that they got with 0% interest. And what do you think they're going to do with that when the housing market comes down?
Just going to buy everything for a penny on the dollar. All of it. Exactly what Rothschilds he did during World War II.
Like, I mean, they're saying there is no Great Reset. I mean, this Klaus Schwab wrote a book that is called The Great Reset, and he explains everything we are talking about right now. And he had that out, like, as COVID was rolling out. So you're telling me he's busy, like trying to get his handle on the pandemic and run the world, basically, but he has time to write a book. Not only write the book, but get it published and everything else and get it out? Nah.
That book, I think, is written a long time ago.
It was. That's before.
I mean, everything we see today that is going on is already pre-planned and years ahead of time.
Oh, so Mescal just jumped in here and said that the MSM News, the mainstream media news on his side of the fence, are saying that the Queen is already dead. So.
That's what I hear too. She is dead, and I just say hip hip hooray, a cannibal is dead.
I don't think she's dead. I don't get it. You asked me right now, my gut feeling, she's not dead. This is an emergency meeting.
Yeah, it could be. Because she's part of the 13 bloodlines.
Exactly.
She's
If
one
they
of
want
them.
her alive, she's going to stay alive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they want Pelosi alive. She stays alive. She should be dead long time ago.
And they just you remember that Anthony Weiner guy that got in trouble with the tech messages and all that? He is now in charge of all this green energy bullcrap. No, he just got appointed today, and not only that, Switzerland is considering jailing anyone who heats a room above 19 Celsius for up to 3 years if the country is forced to ration gas due to the Ukraine war. And that is from the Daily Mail.
Wow.
So there, even where I'm at, on a good power grid in like basically the middle of the U.S., like my power bill has gone up by $200 to $250 for the past 2 months. I live alone. I use the same power. Like I have a brand new heating and air unit. Like I know how to run it so it doesn't run all day. You understand? So it's like I'm not using that much more power, and they're charging me like almost double of what my bill should be. In a lot of places, it's way worse than that.
Yeah, like California.
Yeah, that's a problem that we're easily able to look at from 1,000 miles above the sky before it even comes here. Like that, the whole problem with this situation is I have friends that are from California too, and now they've made it to where you're not allowed to have gas. So I was like, well, how are you going to go to California and get out of California if you drive there and they're not allowing anybody to have gasoline now? So, and you're going to get fined for having a gas-powered vehicle.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Something just hit me, guys. What if they are trying to get people to stay put because of what we were talking about earlier, because something might happen? Think about it. It's like they're almost consolidating people to the coast, right? And they're just letting the coast like disintegrate, like they're not going to be there.
Well, I know for what they're doing. What they're trying to do now, as you say, confining, right? They are trying to make it impossible for any of us to move around. So we are stayed locked down in our own position, meaning at our homes. That makes the logistics for rounding up people much easier. It makes everything easier for them because they know where everybody is. Nobody is traveling. This is exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to put a complete hold on transportation and of traveling and airline traveling. They want to kill that. So no one gets around. Everybody is shut down in their own location. That's what they want. That's what they're aiming for. And I listened to an interview over 3 hours long, something called the New World, not Order, but in a way order, what they're planning on. And one of the key ingredients in this building of this totalitarian regime, that is to have people locked down, not be able to move. No gas, no electricity, nothing.
No food, no backups.
Yeah, and if you want food, then you have to, put something in your right hand or in your forehead. That's what they're aiming for. So you are already in the system, you're locked in, and you're part of this social credit score BS. China is already running the show on that level, and they want to take it over here.
So
they want to take it to the whole world.
Yeah, so one of the immediate issues is if nobody can, everybody's trying to get all these electric vehicles, but they're not allowing people to charge their electric vehicles because they're overloading the grid. So the problem here is, if you just stop and think for a minute, is why do they want to push something that they don't have enough resources for?
Yeah, and which is not a viable energy source in the first place.
And then on top of that, look at what's happening where all of the actual like nuclear power plants are, the solar power plants are. They're actually standing up Bitcoin mining fields. So there's external third parties buying out land and fields to stand up all these, money mining machines that are digital, that are consuming all of the electric. So they're paying to buy all of that electric while they're making the rest of civilization suffer and not be able to meet their demands. So
yeah, but it's just part of the plan. You and I do not count anymore. We are expendable.
They don't need us.
They don't need us anymore. That's exactly the point. They don't need us. And that's why they're terraforming the planet with chemtrails. But the chemtrails has two functions that I know of. That might be more agendas on that one. But in the chemtrails, they are poisoning the planet. They are transforming our planet into a suitable environment for those who's yet to come, which is said to be arriving in 2023. And they're not our friends. We know who they are. Some call them the Anunnaki or the reptilians. These entities are arriving, and they need a certain environment in order to be able to stay put. Because as it is right now, they can't stay here for a prolonged period of time.
You know what?
No. Tell me.
Mescal's in here. He's like in the chat box, and he's a good guy. I know him. He's down in Australia. I've talked with him, and he's also one of the gentlemen that works on energy products. He's got a lot to say and bring to the table, but he's telling everybody that we need to get out of the confusion and come out with the solutions. And that's just where we are today. It's like we know what the solutions are. We just can't get any of these individuals to allow us or give us the money potential to actually change the playing field a little bit.
I know what the solution to that is. That is the people of each nation abolishes their governments, taking the power away from them.
Yeah, but we've got to
peacefully.
We've got to do it peacefully, right? We've all got to come together and just basically, dude. Like I was explaining to my father, I was like, imagine if I handed out flyers because I was talking about my energy bill, and like, dude, not only are they making people pay exorbitant amounts, they're like putting people on payment plans where they have to pay not only the past due amount but also like the next month's amount. Like, they're
and the interests.
Yeah, dude, they're really pounding on people, and they're being real, like, rude. And it's just like, if everybody would take that power bill and burn that power bill and not pay it, how much longer do you think they treat you that way? I'm guessing 3 days.
Hey, that's exactly what they're doing in China right now. That's why the banks in China is folding. The housing industry in China is collapsing because
they're not paying. They're not paying because they're paying for houses.
People are not paying. Yeah, the buildings are not even been built. The foundation is not even set on the ground, and China is coming out and telling their loan takers or lenders or whatever they're called, that we can't deliver on time. So people simply just stop paying the bills, and that's quickly gonna shockwave down the whole system for the Chinese Communist Party. And we should do the same here.
All you got to do is say no collectively. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, no.
One town at a time. Burn everything peacefully.
Yeah, just say no. Civil disobedience on the entire front, on all levels. Just say no, not anymore. We cannot do this.
So I'm not certain like where this was. I don't know if it was Europe or Canada, but I did see something briefly where one of these places said that they're moving to the thing where it says if anybody turns on anything that is gas related, they're going to put them in jail and fine them simply for using those things. I think it was Canada.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
So, this is like so out of control. It's so out of control.
I mean, his name is Justin Castro. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the son of Castro. Now he's in Canada, running around like a tyrant up there.
So I'm going to tell you a story real quick. There is a guy named Thane Hines that's in Canada. Now, I spoke with him directly, and I put some of his information out on the internet a while back when we were talking about energy. But he actually designed the electrical power systems called the Region X systems that produce quantum, never-ending, sustainable energy. And what he explained to me is that they plan on phasing out the power systems with the Region X systems, but they're basically going to keep all the power models for charging the consumers the same, but it'll be a transparent cutover. So here's the problem. My question is, are they moving to that? We don't have any transparency. We don't have any visibility into it. But that's the part of the thing about knowing people that, are working in the technology sector, right? Is like, there's things that you're going to know and there's things that you aren't going to know. But I can tell you what we do know is that it exists and it's happening, but has it already happened? I can't assume that it's already happened because, they're not able to charge things. And if they can't charge things, that means they have a limited supply of energy.
Well, I do think, John, that system you talk about there, I already think they have it and it's ready to be deployed. But the problem, the reason for why they need to have a system like that is because they know just as well as I do that this idea about renewable energy, that is a lie. Energy is used, it's transformed into another sort of energy. It can no longer, and it cannot be converted back to the original energy source. That's just not possible.
There was a video over in England, and they're rolling out all the electrical, heavy equipment, like back-end loaders, all kinds of stuff like that. And he goes, we're trying out all this new equipment, and we ran it, and it lasted us 2 hours, and now we're charging it up. And he walks over to the corner of the job site, and you hear this motor just getting louder and louder and louder. They bust in a generator the size of a back end of a semi-truck to charge the equipment off of diesel.
Yeah, exactly. Let me give you an example about this fraud regarding energy.
It's a joke, man.
It is a joke.
It's a joke.
If you imagine you have a Tesla car that is completely depleted from amperage, can't drive, it needs charge. It takes 36 gallons of diesel fuel in a generator to charge that vehicle alone. Just one vehicle. That's absurd.
Dude, I'm not, dude, it's funny. It's like a cult, dude. These people,
it is a cult.
They're trying to change their lives. They're putting out YouTube videos on how to own a Tesla, like how to charge a Tesla, because if you actually park next to somebody else that's charging a Tesla next to you that's on a completely separate unit, it cuts your kilowatts per hour more than less to half. So it takes twice as long. So if all those chargers are full, you can't supercharge, and it takes you be there for 6 hours before you got 100 miles of range. And then you have people buying these new electric trucks and trying to pull campers with them, and they can only go 50 freaking miles, man. It just blows my mind. So there's all these tutorials and hacks of how to use these cars correctly and get around all the things that are wrong. And then in California, you're also lucky to find a charger because all the crackheads will cut the charging cable because of all the heavy metals that are inside of it. So they can't even repair them fast enough so you can use them. And on top of that, Elon isn't paying his charging fees at more than 60% of his locations. So some of them have bags over them and you can't even use them. So it's a joke, man. It is a joke, and as Paul Beckley says, he calls it a green religion. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
It is a religion under the name of climate change. Well, the climate change 4 times a year on the entire planet. Okay? That's been going on for thousands of years. Nothing new under the sun there. That's just how I see it. But I wanted to go back to the chemtrails because I didn't get point number 2 through. I didn't get it through with the terraforming. The other one is, there's a lot of people that don't believe in this, but I do believe Planet X is a reality. It's there, and it's already in our vicinity. the reason for why they're chemtrailing and manipulating weather, and we think that they're manipulating the weather to hurt us. No, they are manipulating the weather to maintain status quo until they no longer can control anything, because then the interaction between our sun and planet X is going to make life on planet Earth next to impossible to even function. So they're trying to maintain status quo as long as they possibly can until the house of cards are falling apart. That's I have that from a reliable source.
So that's why they're being so brash and they're coming full tilt.
Yeah, but they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. And the reason for why they wanna. As Bill Gates, he wants to spray calcium up in the upper atmosphere in order to block the sun. That is because our planet right now is being hammered with UVC rays. They usually never hit the ground. They hit the ground now, and they are very, very harmful.
Would that explain plant mutations?
Yeah. Because everything you receive from the sun is in form of radiation.
Would that also explain all this mysterious leaf bouncing that I've seen all over the U.S.?
I'm not sure about that. I believe that nature is communicating with each other, and this could be a form of communication.
Sorry, people don't understand what I'm talking about. You can go and look this up, but there's clips of multiples and multiples of it. You'll see various types of species of plant, and one specific little branch or leaf will be just sitting there, just going 90 to nothing, just back and forth or rotating weird. And even people will go up and stop it, and it will start again.
I have seen that footage too. And I can't explain it other than I think it's some sort of communication. Or maybe it's, demonic. I don't know. I don't think it pertains to the radiation we're receiving from the sun.
Just trying to lock some other stuff in.
I can't say it for certain that what it is.
So you think we got until 23? Is what you're saying?
If you follow the prognosis, a guy called Steve Quill, some people know, and there's another guy too. What was his name? Steve Pendenoon is speaking about that we will have this so-called alien visitation already in 2023, and in 2023, according to the Dr. Deagle report, we will only be around 100 million Americans left. The rest is dead.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've shown that to my dad.
And, that's only a little, we already in September, right? And that's only 12 months in a year. So there's 3 months left of this year. And God knows what's going to take place, since we can have a die-off of such proportions.
The only way they're going to get those numbers is if A, society completely collapses and it's all out man for man, or two, there's a big enough disaster that takes out both coasts completely.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. And I know right now, and they've been doing that for decades now, but they're really pulling the strings regarding the two-state solution in Israel. And that is when these elites comes out and say peace and security, and sudden destruction shall come upon them, and they shall not escape. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Right. So everybody in the chat is kind of agreeing that the coast may be in danger.
The coast is in danger.
Yeah.
It's been in danger for quite a while now.
Yeah, I know. I think that's why they're locking everybody down to the coast, and everything's so hard. And if you look at it, the majority of electric car sales are where? On the coast. So everybody's got these electric cars and nobody can get gas. So even if the word got out that a destruction was going to take place, you're stuck.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Go over the Rockies on foot? Yeah, good luck.
Well, the southern part of California is going to sink into the abyss. The northern part of the west coast is going to be destroyed all the way to I-5 because of tsunami. Cascadia Fault. That is, I would say there is probably 30 million people just gone.
Instantly.
I mean, according to prognosis, it depends on when it happens. If it happens during a tourist season, of course, the fatalities would be much higher in numbers. But they're estimating 7 to 8 million people of a magnitude of 9 hitting the Cascadia. Everything west of I-5 would be destroyed. At 7 to 8 million people dead. If you go to Southern California, you have a very high population density. Very high.
Yeah.
So we're probably looking at 20, 30, maybe more. And then all the people that will subsequently die from not being able to be helped. People are injured, buried in rubbles. No food, no water. And
there'd be no way to get food to those people. Like every way in or out would be
impossible. And a human being, if he don't, in a summertime as an example, if he don't get anything to drink for 2 days, he can't function. Just water alone. You can live without food for a week before it really starts getting at you. Because your body...
Let's be honest here. Probably the people that are listening will agree. Not very many humans have put themselves to the test. How many people out there have fasted? How many people out there have not drinking water or done certain things or actually been out in the elements for days at a time? You're talking about 1 or 2%. So everybody that's there, that's alive, that has a chance at surviving, they're not going to because they're soft. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, me neither, because they're not conditioned to a situation where they have to survive. Because everything is just on the shelf.
Exactly, and even imagine if you're one of the people that is prepared and has supplies, you will instantly be marked.
Oh yeah, and even you will be eaten. That's just the name of the game. I mean, it's going to be pure Mad Max.
Right.
That's how I see it. There's no way around that. We are going into a Mad Max scenario on this planet. Not just the United States. The whole world is going to go bananas.
Yeah, it's not just us, man. It's like everybody together seems to be coming unglued.
I'm having a moment now, so give me a second. Okay, so more people are jumping in the chat saying that the Queen has also passed away, and it's BJ Bumblebee, by the way. And Mescal also said that. Look, you remember when Mike had a one of those shows with Paul Begley, and he said, he saw somebody in a casket soon. Well, the only biggest historical icon and figure that I can possibly think of who, well, if it's true and she's dead, that's in a casket now would be the Queen. That's going to be pretty huge. So.
It'll be huge.
Wait a minute. I just got something. Consciousness transfer. Is this what? Could this be what it means? Is like they now have the power to transfer from body to body.
Yeah, they have the power to do that. They already done that with Rockefeller.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, just being a very spiritually evolved person myself, that I know for a fact that, just because of the knowledge that I know, that it's already been well explained and well known that even through the Ark of the Covenant, that they know that they can transfer souls and retain them with the power of that. So if they can do all that with something like the Ark of the Covenant, that's kind of like where the power is. Then you know
I
you have
actually
to
think they
know
could do
that
it.
that
I
I'm sure
actually
that
think
they
they
can
could
do
do
that.
that in the ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think they had the technology back then to do that. There's no way in hell the Egyptians built the pyramids. They did not make those.
you know there's so many things I've seen that I probably should have never seen, but they can't be unseen. And
No.
I don't think like I'm really permitted to talk about them, but I can tell you that there's things that if people knew about them or actually seen them themselves, it would undo everything that they've known about existence.
Yeah.
In my case, or in somebody even like in Mike from Around the World's case, um, I'm not, we're two different people. I'm not putting myself in the same arena as him, but I've got my own experiences and my own things that I've seen and I've witnessed. But I'll say this, that even though I've seen them and I've experienced things myself, that I never stopped believing in the prime creator God or the events of Jesus Christ. And but for many who have never, come to the realization and the understanding of all this, that it would deeply impact those things. So I just don't. I'm trying to still get my head wrapped around like how all this is unfolding. What impacts is this going to have if the queen is really dead? I mean, I'm not too big into that political arena of things that will start to unfold if this is true. Which I mean, I'm coming to the realization that it is, because who wants to lie about that? But if she is really dead, what is that actually going to mean? Like, what's going to change? Because even everybody that's, the long extended hand of the Queen's reign has always, been, within America and other places. So, I mean, what's actually going to come from all of this?
I really don't know.
That's the question, man. Like, either it's symbolic or everything is about to change, or it's both.
I know the Queen of England is one of the highest ranking individuals on this planet.
Yes.
She actually, the British royal family own, according to info, 80% of all land on this planet. 80%. And now she goes away. And the guy who was supposed to follow in her footsteps, he has left for America and becoming a sissy puppy with his stupid wife. And the other one, I don't think he's suitable. He might look like a tough guy, but he's probably just like his father, Prince Charles, or, like Prince Charles, a wussy.
Man, I need to really start up a bigger call-in, because some of the things we're all like talking about here between the chat and online right now they're just really good. So here, BJ says, I'm wondering if the remaining royal family will move to the end of the monarchy and disrupt sovereignty in England. And then it's been less than a week since the new prime minister met with the Queen, and then the Queen dies. I think it's chaos through entropy and population reduction. So what do you guys say about that?
Well, Conan Doyle, he says Europe will be a vast cemetery. And he's speaking about the time we're in now. A vast cemetery. And there's certain things we cannot talk about on this public forum, unfortunately. But someone did something to themselves of fear and thought it was a good idea. They are now going to reap the harvest of that decision, and being so dumb, being more or less bullied into do that to themselves. And hopefully people out there understand what I'm talking about. that is going to be in the very near future a very big factor to a massive die-off of people. Huge die-off.
I mean, you have the shelled reactor that got hit again in Ukraine. That's on a crumbling power grid, and then you also have Russia coming out saying that they will use the tactical bang bangs that they have if this continues.
Yeah, and radiation, that's something we just cannot get rid of.
No.
Yeah, so that's an even bigger problem right now. They keep on saying that they've already destroyed one of the reactors, and now it's leaking, and they're trying to get people to come out there and assess it. I mean,
how do we know that's true?
Well, that's the thing, right? So we don't know. And I'm sure that they're already quelching all of the monitors. The only way to really know is if you've got a lot of people over a widely dispersed field where that stuff is being carried out, but they've actually got some type of monitors where they can pick it up and get the word out. So just like back in the days of Chernobyl, the same thing happened. And they had so many people that had monitors over a certain distance that they were able to leak out and get the information out that was actually occurring. That's why they were never able to cover that up. So hopefully...
Well, they can do that on shortwave transmitters. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, and I think today, even with something like satellites, they can, measure it over some type of, laser or something like that. I'm sure they could see something.
They can see everything, John.
Oh,
everything.
I know they can. Yeah, that's without question. I mean, if you just look at what they do with Google today, just think about that being recorded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, I don't want to get away from the thing, but the point is that no matter who's doing something, wherever they're going, whoever they're shooting, whoever they're killing, or blowing up, or whatever notorious thing that they want to do, there's nobody that can't get away from the crime because everything is recorded around the clock, 365 days a year via satellite. So
yeah, and every square inch of this planet is monitored from space.
Yeah. So it's not like they can't roll the camera back during a certain day, certain point in time, and then see all the people coming in and out. So I mean, that's where technology is today. And if anybody doesn't understand that, they're completely blind.
Well, and that explains exactly this new world order, or the beast system that is coming into fruition now. That is, when he finally appeared, the son of perdition, he would know everything. Nothing is unseen. Nothing can be hidden from him, because all the apparatus is in place. The cell phone towers picking us up. They can even pick up our heartbeat, the frequency of our heartbeat. And if you consider it as a threat, they just send an interference pattern towards the target they have triangulated, and that person, he drops dead on the ground, and people just think he died of natural causes. They have all that stuff now. They've had it for years.
Yeah. That's all. That's all been well demonstrated, but
yeah, I mean, they got everything in place. All they need is the right calamity in order to transform the whole world into a one beast system where all nations are bound under Satan. That's exactly what they're waiting for. But what is specifically is going to trigger it, I don't know. I know when it's being triggered, it will cause a World War III, which we've kind of already in the beginning of, but something more needs to come in order for that. And I think a worldwide collapse, which is all the light bulbs is pointing towards right now, that will cause the whole world to sink into complete chaos. And guess who got the solution? They do. They have the solution. They're orchestrating our world to sink into oblivion. so they can come out on the other side and say, hey, we're your saviors, we're here to help. That's why I think they're arriving in 2023, when most people of America is dead, and possibly most people of Europe is dead, and millions more over in Asia is dead because of, it could be radiation, it could be an earth-shattering event. I mean geological or atmospherical event that causes something. Yeah.
Mount Rainier is puffing smoke.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a super volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's so worried, especially, I'm not going to downplay him. I like him, but he needs to stop bloody monitoring this stupid Yellowstone Park. And I'm talking about Mr. MBB333. I have told him that many times. Stop wasting our time with bloody Yellowstone. That is not the problem. The West Coast volcanoes are the problem.
Yeah, I can tell you something about the West Coast volcano situation. Because me and a few others, we actually had live footage when most of the fires started breaking out from where many of those dormant volcanoes were, like the Butte lava domes, like on all the hillsides where they were catching fire, and the trees were burning from the inside out. They weren't burning because the people were firing lasers at them. They were burning from under the ground, coming up from the ground, burning from the ground outwards. Like the cores were liquefied, and when you look down into where the cores were, you could see molten lava. And they, when they were in the middle of broadcasting that, we were actually recording that, and we showed that to everybody. In fact, I still have the footage of that, and so there's definitely a problem that's there, but how severe is it? I don't think we're really going to know, but does it tie into Yellowstone? It could, because it's right up in that area where those chambers interconnect. I don't know.
Can I speak to that? First,
Sure.
An injection. My mother-in-law has had several dreams on the West Coast about earth fire coming out of the ground, burning the trees.
Well, there you
she
go.
had that for many years, and then she moved to Indiana, away from that. But another thing is, Yellowstone Park, or Yellowstone Volcano Caldera, is a super volcano, but it is more or less dormant when it comes to eruption, because Yellowstone Park is constantly venting its pressure all the time. Pressure never gets to build to a point where it just go poof, because it's venting it all the time. For the last 4,000 years, the volcano of Yellowstone, its magma chamber and its magma tubes has moved westward, and that's where we have Mount Shasta, we have Mount Hood, we have Mount Rainier, we got Ridgecrest caldera, which magma chamber is twice the size of Yellowstone's. Twice the size. And a few years ago, we had a 7.8 earthquake in Ridgecrest, and it struck a crack in the Earth's crust. We got a massive supervolcano in Ridgecrest sitting there ready to just go off.
And now, look, wouldn't the West Coast tragedy, wouldn't that send shockwaves big enough to also take out the East Coast, just with waves alone?
Yeah, possibly, because if something so momentous is happening, something in the subterranean is going to follow in the footsteps of that. It will send shockwave through the crust, and it might impact the West Coast. The middle of middle of America is sitting on the American plate, which is granite. The west coast is granite, but it's broken because of San Andreas and Cascadia. So that is prone already to disaster. The east coast is limestone. All the way into the Appalachians.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if the energy output is powerful enough. It might be able to shake the American plate, which is granite, and make it rain in some form or fashion, and that will in turns affect the East Coast. But another thing is, from Oregon and all the way down to Georgia, a long line, straight line, there's a deep underground rift. And it's a rift that will make San Andreas and Cascadia fault line look like a pygmy.
Well, that okay. That's why I shut up for a second, because that ties in what you said just right there to the U.S. naval maps. Have you seen those? With the basically Oklahoma and part of Texas and Arkansas is waterfront property.
Yeah, I know. I was one of the first ones to produce that map during the Gulf oil spill, because that helps on it too. If everybody think that the Gulf oil spill was in order to, it was just an accident, no. That's why you're all wrong. All wrong. They drilled the first pipe. The first drilling was 36,000 feet deep. The next one was 47,000 feet deep. Then the whole thing blew up, right? They drilled within a football field distance to each other, and they claimed that the blow-up preventer had failed. So that's why oil was gushing out. But I have evidence of that pipeline belonging to Shell Oil was cut in McConderwell 252. I know that for a fact. I have the documents on it. And then they say, okay, we need to stop this, so we need to drill 2 relief wells so we can intersect those 2 tubes and relieve the pressure and then stop the oil spill. Now, if you want to intersect 2 drills, why the hell are you drilling those 2 relief pipes? Why are you drilling them down to 47,000 feet? That's not intersecting. That is to join up. Already there.
Were they trying to destabilize it back then?
Yeah. And it's already working. It's already working. Biloxi Dome is a gigantic asphalt volcano that is sitting only 30 miles away from the drill site. That Biloxi Dome, it will make, how big is it? I would say it's probably the size of New York City. New York, the whole state of New York, sitting on the bottom of the Mexican Gulf. And the magma chamber of Biloxi Dome is taking up 1/5 of the entire Mexican Gulf. The entire Mexican Gulf, 1/5. That's how big it is.
This is a whole, if one of these goes off, the whole chain is going to go off.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why the Beagle report would report that many people are dead. I think we've kind of narrowed it down.
I think it would be a natural disaster, but it's a natural disaster set up by them, because they know exactly what they're doing. And I'm telling you, people out there listening to my voice, the Gulf oil spill was not an accident. It was a pre-planned disaster. I have the evidence on it. I have shown it again and again, and YouTube has terminated 5 channels because I won't shut up about it. Because it's genocide, what they're planning on. Already knew that from the beginning when it began. This is not an oil spill. This is fishy. And I start looking into it, and all of a sudden, someone freaking sent me a USB file with all the blueprint of what was going on out there. All of it. PDF files, blueprints of diagrams of everything, all of it.
Have you shared that out to everybody
Yeah,
that you
I've
know?
shared it. Are you kidding me, man? YouTube shut me down so fast I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, that's good. The more people, I guess, that have the information, the better.
Jeez, man, I have a video I still have. I'm going to upload that on my channel. And then it's a documentary, which I'm calling The Gulf Oil Spill Revisited, full documentary, 2010-2013, in those 3 years, where I have been gathering information upon information. And I can, if you see it, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's long, sorry, but you have to put it all in there. When you're done, you would just lean back and say, "Wow, that ain't good."
Are you saying you're gonna upload it to your current channel?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it back up again. I have it installed. That's the only backup file I have. The only thing left. Okay. That's that one.
Do you have a BitChute account?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what
I never use it.
I would upload it to BitChute before you risk your YouTube channel, right? And if you could, give us a date and a specific time when you're going to upload that video so we can all watch it before it gets taken down, and we can all record it.
Okay. I'll have John help me announce it, because right now I've got a very hard time with my new channel. Very hard time.
I'm just saying, if you're willing to put that up there, let us know, and we'll coordinate the exact time so everybody can record it, and then we can all we can all re-put it back out. But I think you might be able to put it up on BitChute.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that in the weekend.
And if not, we know how important this information is, and then we can even get. Now, I'm not saying Alex Jones is good or bad. I'm just saying maybe we can start contacting other forms of media and seeing who will touch it and who won't touch it, and that will also give us a degree on what team is batting for for who. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you know who made a shitload of money on that? To look the other way? Obama.
Yeah.
$81 million right down in his pocket to just shut up and talk about the oil spill. Not a word. Just keep your mouth shut. We got this.
It was, I remember it, dude. It was real odd how they covered it. Like, it was a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal.
No, it was not a big deal. The only oil spill that was present was a bloody shell pipeline pipe on the ground in the ocean, on the seafloor, that was cut with a circular saw. I have the images of it. It's in the documentary. It's in the documentary. And then they show this blowout preventer spewing out something red, body stuff. And what is in front of it? There's a freaking natural sponge duct taped to a stick to make it seem like we're down on the bottom of the ocean and this is some kind of plankton. Are you kidding me? And people just ate that raw without even asking questions. I saw that immediately. What the hell is that?
People were so asleep back then, man. They didn't.
Are you kidding? It was freaking red electrical tape on a stick with a natural sponge. Probably a real sea sponge. Those you can wash yourself with. That's what it looked like. One of those. But come on, man. It was duct taped. On the seafloor, duct tape sponge to a stick on the seafloor. I mean, come on.
It's not any more fishy than buildings just disappearing as they fall.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, I know that.
You'll have that on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I know what that is. It's called dustification.
And it's funny how the Tesla and Trump and Trump's grandpa and it all ties in together. It's a little odd, but we won't go there today. We're just kind of trying to stay current. But I think we need to get that video out. I really feel like we're on to one of the only plausible scenarios that could account for that loss of life and change of direction in the world.
I think they are determined. Just as my last verdict. because John has to shut this off here in a moment. I think they are going to sink this ship.
Right.
And it's gonna be so dramatic that the whole world would just sit back and just, what the hell?
You know, like
What just happened?
I'm just gonna stick to all the key factors here, and the key factors are, we have a situation. Let me just, before anybody says anything, let me finish everything I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So the key factors are this. You have the fact that, you know, we had Trump in office. He's taken out. He was building. We were building a pipeline for America to be used by America. Then Biden comes in. They take out the pipeline. Then all of a sudden there is a war with Russia. Now Russia is now cutting off all the gas to everything that pretty much feeds Europe and America. Then you have the Queen. The Queen is pretty much gone now, and then you have the entire energy sector being put. You know, it's being submerged and being taken out. And there were some other things that I was just thinking of, but I just lost my train of thought. I don't know why.
But can you see what I'm saying? They're sinking the ship.
Yeah.
Step by step, and nobody notices.
And it's funny, we go by Admiralty law in the background, and it's all based on, you know, rules of the sea.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everything we see today that is happening around the world is all by design. All of it. It's not coincidental. The only coincidence there is in life, that is how much toilet paper you use when you visit the restroom. That's a coincidence.
Depends on the brand. You're correct.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Guys, just, I know this might be doom and gloom, but don't.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say now.
Don't forget your humor out there.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. So let me recap on what I was just saying. So you've got Trump came in. He was doing something for America, right? Then he was building that pipeline. The pipeline was almost finished, but they took it out. They got rid of it. They canceled all the jobs for all the people. Then Biden, you know, that's when Biden came in. And then now all of a sudden we got a war with Russia. And then, you know, everything is being cut off to all the countries, Europe, America, everything for gas, you know, Germany, all that. And then here's the icing on the cake. Shinzo Abe calls up America and says, hey, Russia and China are going to attack America in a Pearl Harbor style 2.0 attack. Then all of a sudden, just maybe a couple of weeks or a few weeks later, he's dead. And it's because of religious causes, because of some religious fanatic. Right after he announces that to America. So, and then now the Queen is dead. So I mean, think about these things. You know, something is happening by design.
Oh yeah. And you can't forget the situation going on in Cuba too. And,
right. And then the fact that you have, you know, you saw all the nuclear bombers flying over America. Everybody saw that. I mean, we saw them here in Dallas. I mean, they're flying around everywhere. They're sniffing and you know looking for stuff. But they said that they went in and disarmed some in New York City. But did they disarm them? I mean, there was a lot of things that were happening, right? Like they shut down like all of the flight radar systems. They shut down cameras at so many locations to things. I mean, for what? They did the same thing like before 9/11 happened, right? So those same tactics are happening right now. So, you know, like something, like I said, in some previous broadcasts, we haven't felt the sting yet of
No.
what's going on. So
No.
if you look at everything that's unfolding, if you look at the people that are dying now, if you look at, Shinzo Abe dying, if you look at the Queen dying, if you look at, they've crippled the energy industry now.
Crippled the economy.
Yeah, if you look at, they're shutting down eyes and ears, for the population in public places. I mean, there's too many things that are just happening that say, something is going on, and whatever it's going to be soon, I don't think it's going to be pretty.
But all we need is those sunglasses that the guy they live. That's what we need, and we will see the facts. This is exactly what's going on. This world is not controlled at this moment in time by humans. I'm just telling you that.
Dude, I mean, and I know that sounds crazy, but think about it, man. I know you have your psychopaths and humanity, but I don't think there's enough psychopaths that could get together and plan this out against humanity. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, people in general don't treat other people like that, even for money, power, and greed. You've got to be persuaded.
Yeah, and
Right.
that persuasion, I think, is possession.
Exactly.
They're going all in because they know what they want. They want us dead so they can take over. That's what they want.
Well, I think, there's some interesting things that have been, excuse me, there's some interesting things that have been happening while these pieces have unfolded, like that whole thing with like the Georgia Guidestones being eviscerated.
Inside job.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a signal.
I think I did a video on this. I know I did a video on this, and I think I was talking about what it's like for some of these factions that are of a higher order, right? So here's what I think. I want to point this out again because I'm sure many have probably forgotten this. But I always like to come back to something and revisit it at some point. That, remember when everybody was making things were getting stirred up and everybody's like, well, these metal rods, these rectangular metal rods were being placed in the ground at certain locations around the world.
Right, the monoliths.
You remember those?
Yeah, the monoliths.
Yeah, the monoliths, right? So let me explain something about that. Immediately when I had seen that, and I had looked at the timing of everything and the events that started unfolding, I didn't look at it like it's somebody getting publicity. I immediately could see something else going on of a much higher magnitude or an order of things, and that was this. I think that everywhere those so-called monoliths were being dropped, it was something of a higher order placing a vote down. Like if this monolith is placed here at this time, it's like somebody saying, you have my vote for the next action. And then they placed another card down at the next location, and then whoever controls that region, that society of people or whatever, they are also putting in their vote that you have my vote for the next action.
How many monoliths were placed?
Well, there were a lot, and they were all over the world at certain places. So if you go back and do the accounting on that,
I think the number is important.
Yeah, it is important. If you go back and you do the accounting on that, then you're going to see that, there's all of these weird things that have just started happening since all of those rolled out. And I feel like there's something much greater at work. But I think it's a voting system, in my opinion.
The number is 87.
87. That's 15. 1 plus 5 is 6.
Wait. 87 more, so that means there's 88. The
88.
Trinity.
Yeah. So
88. Well, the eight also represent the spider. And the spider has a great significance in these satanic realms.
well, I mean, all things aside, regardless what the realms are, the point is if you're just looking at it in the simplest terms, it's a voting system, in my opinion. And I think that everywhere these things were landing, they were like people conferring their vote.
Was these monoliths, if we look at it, were they placed on top of an intersection of ley lines?
You know, I didn't look into it that deep, but
Okay. Well, Adam,
Here's their reasoning. It says several monolith makers told Insider they built their structures to end 2020 on a high note, but there have been more discovered since, like I just reported to you. So that's false, right? So we know that the reason they gave us, they put them up, is BS instantly.
well, I mean, regardless, I honestly just think it's a voting system. And even if people were putting up fake ones, they're not going to look exactly like. It's kind of like this. If you make a certain brand or a certain logo for somebody and you're putting it up somewhere, it's going to have a certain something to it that is going to be distinguishable from something else. And, you know, if you think about my clan versus your clan versus that clan, all of our factions, we have a different signature. And because it's encrypted and it's encoded, like only the key stakeholder players are going to know what all of that is. And whatever that was going on there, they already knew it was going to gain whatever attention it was going to gain. But when they put those markers down, they were conferring a vote on something. And it could be that we know that something is getting closer. Like if you think about, okay, well, you know, like Nibiru or whatever, the other planet, the binary twin, the sun, whatever, you can just have anything you want that could be cataclysmic in nature. I don't care what it is. The bottom line being that whoever these intelligent people are, I think they have put out their playing cards to say, it's time to make the next action because something is unfolding. And if you look at all of the things that are unfolding, it's getting more serious, more dangerous, more elevated in nature. And, you know, I mean, just look at everything that's going on right now. And that's the way that I'm perceiving it because, I mean, come on, like, you know, the Georgia Guidestones, you know, were taken down, like after the monoliths came out.
Yeah, and the Georgia Guidestones are not just granite stones, they're monoliths.
Yeah.
Yes, the Georgia Guidestones is a definition of monoliths. They're just in the 7 different languages, even hieroglyphs, which is pointless. Nobody can read that shit. But someone can.
Yeah, so those are just things, you know, to like just kind of think about, you know.
But I think you ought to hit on the nail there, and I think the blow up of the Georgia Guidestones were affirmation to the remaining groups, those who voted with the other monoliths placed around on the planet. And now it's time we go now. That's what I think. I don't think it's some kind of white hats that's been out there bombing. It would have been done a long time ago.
I think they've done away with the white hats, man. I think we're on our own.
I don't think the white hats blew that up. I think it's an inside job. I know John was talking about Delta Bravo team did this. I'm not so sure.
Well, when I brought up like the Bravo team, the whole thing with the Bravo team stuff was to say that somebody on the good guys' side is trying to do something that's right, where others won't step in and actually take the action for doing what's right because they don't want to suffer the penalty or the consequences.
Yeah, but why would you want to bomb an inanimate object? You need to go to the source of the problem.
Well,
You're
that's
standing
true.
on 2 feet.
That's true, but still, at the same time,
It don't make sense.
well, that's true, but in the same time, if you think about how crazy and chaotic things are, whoever did it, wanted to send a message, and at least when they sent the message, everybody got the message, and they got a positive feeling and a benefit from what happened. I mean, I felt pretty good about it myself because,
for me, John, it was
first of all,
for me, it was a symbol that they had started the plan. Like that was to me that it wasn't our side that blew it up. It was them saying we are starting what this stands for.
That's what I think too is the end game.
Well, you could be right. There's always two sides to the coin. But
I just don't see us getting help from, dude. I don't see us getting help from anywhere else. We all know there's certain things we can do to get away from this energy crisis. There's certain things we can do. There's smart people out there. We could fix this shit in a month. Okay? We could get our shit together. We could get certain people out of office, but we're not doing that because they don't want that done. And we all know if certain people in this chat were to come out with certain things, they probably wouldn't be here.
Well, no, you are correct about that. I mean, just look at how everything is right now. They pretty much, like anybody that's doing something that wants to do something good for this country is being labeled as
whack-a-mole.
Yeah, they're kind of just being labeled as, like the good people are just being labeled as terrorists automatically. Or now, like if you're just a person that's trying to survive, think about like Canada or some other country like Australia or whatever. Now you go out and you're freezing to death, so you take you chop down a tree, you burn a log, and then you get arrested for burning firewood so you can stay warm and not freeze to death. Well, what's it going to take, for somebody to wake up?
There's only one way through this. That's through Christ.
Well, that's true, but
I mean, everything we see unfolding right now has already been prophesied 4,000 years ago and latest 2,000 years ago, and everything has been fulfilled, all of it, and is still in fulfillment. So there's only one thing in this, and that is, if we want to get on the other side and take charge, we need to go to Christ now. Not tomorrow, yesterday. All of us. At least 1/3 of the world's population needs to turn to Christ yesterday to stop this.
I'm just saying there's got to be a sign for us to know what to do.
The sign is already there. The sign is already there. Turn to Christ. He told you that 2,000 years ago. Look up. Your redemption draw nigh. He already told you. The disciples asked him, what should we do? And he answered that. Turn to me. That's your answer.
Right.
And I know it's so hard for people, probably a lot of people in the chat room. Oh, I don't want to hear about that. But please, give me the benefit of the doubt.
I mean,
listen.
We're all pretty smart in here, and I don't see a way out of this. And
there is no way out of this other than repentance. Period. Period. That's the only solution to this. Repentance. If we don't repent, well, it's already said in the scriptures. I mean, 95% of the world's populace, when Jesus comes back, is dead. Do you understand that, people? Dead. No longer here. Dead. 95%. That's how bad it's going to be. This is how determined the evil ones are to kill us. They have no scruples. They got no remorse, no empathy. They don't care. You can just drop dead right now and they will just, another insect is out. That's how they think. And the only way to think like that got to be because they are possessed by an entity that is controlling their actions. How can you be so void of empathy for human life, for nature, for anything? Look how they are destroying deliberately the world. They're claiming it's our fault, but who's making the rules for what products we can produce so it doesn't pollute our planet? They do.
We don't have a control over it.
We don't control that. They do, and they are yet producing it. And the lithium battery industry is going to be a cesspool of pollution. Bad.
And it's not only going to be a cesspool of pollution, it's going to be a concentrated cesspool. So if you can imagine now, if we live in a fish tank, right? So we go from sprinkling fish food from all across the top of our regular carbon pollution, right? And then now we're just going to take a whole entire can of fish food and dump it in one particular spot. And you're just going to wait for the tank to go brown.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about an aquarium here. I'm talking about a fish bowl. That little space.
Right.
And that stuff is going to sink into the aquifers, so water becomes undrinkable. Jeez, man. This is a deliberate destruction of everything that our Father in heaven has created. This is what is going on right now. The barium, the strontium, the aluminum sprayed on us like roaches are killing our trees, rotting them from the inside and make them ready to be burned like twigs. It's in the military documents how they do this. These fires over in California are not natural. They are done on purpose.
And to go into the dark winter that lays ahead, it makes a whole lot more sense. And then you also look into something called Project Pogo, and that goes through how they've been using AI to track and trace everybody in an event of a collapse or a necessary, where they come in and they have everybody marked because everybody's pinned down and they know where everybody's at. They can then take certain people away. Like those are military documents that Goldberg had, and he was
I don't care what they know I am. I don't care. Whatever. Hey, NSA, I know you're listening. You're going to burn in hell for what you have done. All of you gonna burn in hell. Google too. Trust me, they are going down. They have no remorse. It's just plain evil, all of it.
All around, dude.
Yeah, and evil never dies. It only reinvents itself. Period. It's how it is. Evil has been here since the beginning of time. And evil was supposedly vanquished during Noah's flood. Hell no. There was giants in the land before and after the flood. Evil was still here. It never left.
Right.
Yeah. And now it's totally consumed our planet. And most individuals on this planet. Unfortunately. People are so conditioned today, they don't see what's right in front of them anymore.
And the ones that can see all this are the ones that feel extra alone.
Well, I'm gonna.
What? You said what?
I said the ones that can see all this too are also persecuted in a way that they all feel extra alone in the end.
Oh yeah, I'm very alone. I am. To be honest, I don't got 20 friends I go visit and barbecue with. I got my wife and my mother and father-in-law. That's it. And my 2 dogs. That's pretty alone.
It seems like, dude, everybody. I don't know why, man. Maybe it's so we can be used as needed, but everybody I talk to that's awake seems to have the least amount of connections, but the connections that they do have are also the most important, right? Like, I would consider you guys friends, but it's like, it's not like we hang out and we barbecue and we talk the talk and, you know, we don't do the normal thing.
Hey, Adam, I live 20 miles away from John. I have known John for years now. I have still not met him. He lives right next to Dallas, and I live right above Fort Worth. I'm only 20 miles from him. I haven't seen him yet, only on pictures or videos.
I felt like we've already met and skipped that, though.
He's strange. He don't want to meet me. He's afraid of me, I think.
Man, those are all lies. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true, John. I live 20 miles from you.
Hey, man, I'm the one always telling you, hey, park your truck when you drive through Dallas, and I'll be there in like 30 seconds.
Hey, I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
But I can do it in my private vehicle, but you haven't hit me up on it yet. We could barbecue and have a good chat. But I know why. That was back then. I know what it is. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But don't worry. I know how you look like. I know how you smell like. So I'll find you just like Google will find you when the end is coming. I know where you are. You can't hide.
Well, I do have to brush out of here, but I did want to end this on a interesting note that I think really what we're up against is the struggle of darkness and light.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was just gonna
put
that up here.
Can I say then? You cannot extinguish the light. The darkness can never extinguish the light. The light will always shine in the darkness. Remember that.
If you let it.
Well, that's true.
You gotta be connected to the light to be able to use the light, and don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
Well, I got a 5,000 watt laser beam. I'm the light. I'm not standing down.
Yeah, me either, man.
Did you hear that, NSA? I'm not standing down. I'm not on my knees. No, I'm not on my knees.
Well, be the light of Christ. Let the light shine bright everywhere that it needs to.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone.
Hey,
I'm going to go
when is
ahead.
the next show? Next week?
We can do it whenever.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like these are kind of spontaneous, and I wouldn't say I want to keep it that way all the time, but just like today, me and John had an idea to do this podcast because I brought it up, you know, what was it, John, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
It was a day or two ago, but it didn't happen, and it happened today, but I think it happened today for a reason. I mean, the Queen has passed away. There's a lot of things that move, and it's just like more has come together today, so I feel like when one of us is called, just get a hold of the other.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, if you could do it on a bi-weekly basis, I would be fine with that. Lots of things going on in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Actually, if we could have a show every day, that's how much is going on.
Yeah, we could.
We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, but don't expect me to be able to do it on the weekends, okay? Sunday and Monday, that's off topic. Off limits.
Yeah,
I'm gonna. Days off. I just want to do my thing.
I'm gonna have to come up with something maybe where I can get a like an 800 number or something, and people can dial in.
Yeah. Well, John, if we do this through Discord, then you can have people join the Discord and pop in and talk, and we won't have to do it over the phone.
I have a Discord account.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. Most people do. So if we could run the whole show through Discord, and then I could get on camera too. If you got a camera, you can get on camera. So then we could all be on camera, and even the people that come in could, show their face if they would like. So.
Well, then I might be able to set off an evening past 10, where we can do it.
Yeah,
in the weekend, Sunday or Monday. Saturday or Sunday, not Monday, because that's before I go back to work and I need sleep.
Right. At least John's on camera, so we have at least one face up there. But it's one thing to say something to somebody. I mean, usually you can hear the truth in the voice, but sometimes it's easier for people to connect with the face, no matter what it looks like. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Well, we can, hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Will you please give John your email address so I can send you some stuff?
Yeah.
Good, because then John can text it to me, and he can also inform me of your YouTube channel, because I still don't know who you are.
Okay. All right. That'll work.
So, John, I want his email address and I want his YouTube link.
Yeah. I'll get you what you need.
Yeah, that will be before the end of the day. That's an order.
All right, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Well,
Bye.
good talking to you guys. See you, everybody out there. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Ciao.